welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic and another 100% rated puzzle. This time it's by Jay Dyer and it's called Overkill, and it uses the concept of doublers, which are sort of gaining credence in the Sudoku world at the moment. I solved a doublers puzzle on the channel about a week ago by Zetamath, which was very good and very, well, it was quite hard as well actually. This has got 4 stars out of 5 for difficulty and some rather large cages in it. So we'll see what's going on in that regard in just a moment or two. I've got a few things to mention though first today. Let's start with a congratulations for winning September's monthly reward to Jennifer and Brett Dugan. You have been pulled out of a very, very large hat. About 3,000 of our patrons managed to solve our monthly reward for September. And Jennifer and Brett, you were the winners who we pulled out of the hat. So very, very well done. I will be in touch with your prize, which I think is a Bubba's Yuki this month. So look out for that in your inboxes. Next, let's give more congratulations, this time for birthdays. We'll start with Janita, who has turned 20 today. From the Netherlands, I believe. Your sister Marika got in touch with us and said that you're one of our biggest fans. So, well, we're delighted to hear that. And I hope, of course, that you have a brilliant day with lots and lots of cake. And also, I want to say happy birthday to Nabatanzi. I hope I'm saying your name correctly, Nabatanzi. Your husband Alexander got in touch and said that you are not one of our biggest fans, but he's trying to convert you. So maybe a shout out would help. I hope it does. But I hope, obviously, you have a brilliant day. Next, what do I need to say? Oh yeah, Mark said I need to remind people to check out this puzzle. And he's quite right. This is Stefan Bure's Self-Determination, which I attempted on the puzzle. I attempted to solve the puzzle a couple of days ago on the channel at his bequest. It's an amazing puzzle. It is an amazing puzzle, and it's quite apparently an amusing video. So I'll try and remember to put a link on the screen, but do have a look at that puzzle. It's well worth your time. And then, oh yes, the other thing I need to mention actually. Oh, we're streaming on Monday night. That's 2 days' time. Continuing to work through our free 500,000 subscribers special pack. And the other thing is a bit of an announcement, and it's to do with this, which is our new puzzle book that we are hoping to make. You can see volume 2 here. Yeah, we've been, this has been something that has been, I don't know, gestating slowly in our minds for a while. And we think that now is the time to do it. So there is going to be a Kickstarter campaign coming up in October. It's going to be quite exciting, I have to say. It's going to be an amazing book full of sort of the next slug of magnificent puzzles that we've featured on the channel. And I've got lots and lots of more to tell you about this, but I'll do that in the coming days. But yeah, maybe if there's a puzzle you'd like to see in that book, drop a comment on the video and let us know what that should be. Anyway, I'll tell you more about that in due course. Let's get to the rules of Overkill by Jay Dyer and see what Jay's got in store for us this time. So we've got normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits in a cage may not repeat, and sum to the small clue in the top left corner of the cage. So, okay, you can see something's wrong here already, because that cage is not large enough. Well, because digits can't repeat within a cage, there is a secret. Now, the secret is something I only tell my favourite people, but if you're watching this video, you're definitely in that set of people. And the secret is that any complete column, any complete row, or any complete box of a Sudoku, because of the rules of Sudoku, will add up to 45 because it will contain the digits 1 to 9 once each. So in this cage, which has 8 different cells, there is no way it can add up to more than 45. The maximum it could add up to is 44. So what is going on? That would be a good question. Let me explain. 9 cells, 1 in each row, column and 3x3 box, are doublers and count as double their value in cage sums. Each digit appears in exactly 1 doubler, and doublers are not necessarily in cages. Well, I can tell you there must be a doubler or 2 in this cage. because otherwise you can't reach a total of 55. So yeah, so what we're going to have to do is to work out somehow where 9 doubling cells go, and then think about how these cages can work in light of that. And we've got to, the other thing we've got to make sure we do is to put, once we've found the 9 doubling cells, we have to put all the digits 1 to 9 in the doublers once each, so that each digit gets doubled once. And that was very important in that Zeta math puzzle I did, so I'll mention it now because it's probably important here as well. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, let's get cracking. So my eyes are drawn to 2 cages straight away. They aren't the big cages, of which there seem to be, well, there's 4 cages that can't exist without doublers, which is this one, this one, this one, and this one. But that cage is a 16 cage in 5 cells. Right, okay, I was about to say, so it must be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, but actually here, that's not, well, it's nearly true, but not necessarily true, because I guess if there's a doubler in there, and it doubled the 1, it could only double the 1, and the other digits were 2, 3, 4, and 5, then it would work. Bobbins. Okay, so there is, right, all we can actually say then is that there is a 1, is this worth pencil marking? It might be. There's definitely a 1, 2, 3, and 4 in this cage. And there's a 5 or a 6 as the 5th digit, depending on whether there's a doubled 1 in that cage. Now, let's think about this 34 cage as well, because 34 ordinarily can only be 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9. But yeah, okay, this is not as helpful, is it? Because this is a large cage, which means doublers are going to help us reach the total. And therefore, I suppose it can only have 1 doubler in it, because we can't put 2 doublers in a box. But for example, it could be 6, 7, 8, 9, and a double 2. So I definitely can't pencil mark this. Right, okay, so perhaps unsurprisingly, I think we're going to have to think about these big cages. Now, this is a jolly big cage, isn't it? This is the largest cage in the puzzle, and it is of size 60. So the most we could put into the, if we think about how do I put the most massive numbers I can into that cage, that is an 8-cell cage. Oh, I see. Actually, they're all 8-cell cages, I've just realised. They're all 90-degree rotations of each other. So if you rotate that shape 90 degrees clockwise, you're going to get that shape. And then if you rotate this one 90 degrees clockwise, you get this shape. And then the same again here. Now, is that telling me anything? I'm not sure. But let's come back to this cage and its actual the mathematics of it. It's, if we max out the digits in it, we can get to 44, because we know 9 digits add to 45. So what I'm going to do is fill this with 8 cells missing out a 1. So that would give us a maximum of 44, ignoring doublers. But then I've got to get to 60, so I need 16 more from doublers, which means there must be at least 2 doublers in this cage. And that, I don't see really how to use that, because unfortunately, it's not like this shape only occupies, you know, sort of 1 row and 1 column of the grid, or 2 boxes of the grid. It occupies 4 boxes, so there are 4 possible double. That's the most number of doublets we could put in this cage, would be 4. Because we could put 1 there, 1... Oh no, we can't. No, we can't put 4, because the two cells in row 4 see each other. So the maximum number of doublers in this cage is 3 then. Right. I've got a horrible feeling I'm meant to be able to know more about this cage, but I can't see how to do it. I think it's got 2 or 3 doublers, but I haven't got a Scooby-Doo where they go. And that's rather worrying, because, well, actually this cage also has to have 2 doublers. I can see that now, because or more, 2 or more doublers, because the maximum I could put in the yellow cells is 44, and even if I double the 9 within that cage, I'm only going to get to 53. Oh, so this one could only have 1 doubler in it. If it just has a double 9 in it, that would work. This one has at least 2. This one has at least 2, and this one has well, that could only have 1 as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We only get 6 doublers. Well, 6 doublers minimum in these large cages. That is a worry, isn't it? So what is it I'm meant to do? I'm wondering whether I have to treat these doublers as a collective. But as I say that, I'm thinking that's wrong, because in fact those annoying naughty cages slip into all 9 boxes of the Sudoku. So I can't actually, can I do some sort of set on this? 1, 2, 3. No, I can't. 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I can't at all. Okay, so it is, I think, possible to put 9 doublers in these cages. Oh, so maybe that's it. Maybe that we can prove that. Maybe I can prove I've got to put all 9 doublers. Yes, okay, let's do some maths, sort of some meta maths, if you like, because it suddenly occurs to me that I've got obviously I can't put 9, I can't put double 9 into all of these cages, because there's only 1 double 9, and I can only put 1 doubled 8 in. So actually, maybe it's the excesses over the 44s that are going to be important. So if we imagine that we put an absolute maximum into each of these coloured cages, that would be 44 into each of them. 44 times 4 is 176. So I can put 176 worth of digits into the coloured cages, but these cages have to add up to double 55. Hang on, not double. No, 55. 50, yeah, 160 plus 60 is 220. 220. And what did I say the natural total was? 176. So I need... well, that's very suspicious. So actually, what we've now found out is that if I leave 1 out of all of these cages and then double every other digit in those cages, I would get to 220, which is absolutely what I have to get to. So this is very close to being correct. It might even have to be correct. Is there any way... Oh, so the thing I'm now worried about is it possible that one of these cages contains a 1 and that 1 is doubled? In other words, that these shapes contain all 9 different double digits. Now, unfortunately, I think that's possible, because that's the thing I was thinking about before. So but we have reduced this to binary now, in the sense that we either have every single one of these cages containing a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and all 8 of those digits being doubled somewhere within these coloured cells. That gets us to 220, which is our target. The other possibility is that exactly one of these cages contains a 1. All of the cages altogether contain the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the other 3 cages will contain 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 9. But then there is a doubled one, a doubled of every digit. I was going to say a doubled one of every digit, but that would probably be confusing. But yeah, there needs to be a double 1, a double 2, a double 3, a double 4, double 5, double 6, double 7, double 8, double 9, and that would also, I think, get us to 220. Now, which one of those is correct? Which one of those do I think is going to be correct? I think if I was designing this puzzle, I would try and make it so that there was no 1 in any of these cages, because that feels much more restrictive. So how do we prove that none of these cages contains a 1? That's the thing. If we can prove that, we've done it. So no. Why do none of these cages have a 1 in them? That's the question. Why do none of these questions have a 1 in? The problem is there's definitely not going to be... Oh no, I'm wrong. I was about to say there's definitely not going to be 1s in these cages, but if... Well, hang on. I do know that all the double digits other than 1 are definitely in the cages, because I either have all the digits doubled in the coloured cages, or I have all the digits apart from 1 doubled in the doubled cages, or doubled in the coloured cages. Oh, look, so that could still have a doubled 1 in it. Ah, right, that's very... Oh, that's... Yes, I've done it. Right, okay. I've done it. I now can tell you that there is no 1 in the coloured cages, I think. And it's for a rather pretty reason. So let's go with the alternative hypothesis, which is that the coloured cages contain every digit and every doubled digit. Now, if that's the case, where is the double digit in column 9? Well, because it's got to be in a coloured cage, it's got to be here. That would have to be the double digit. Where would be the double digit in row 9? It's going to be here. So I'm going to get doublers in those 4 perimeter cells, because that's the only cell available in row 1, column 1, row 9, column 9. But now, given that our hypothesis is that the coloured cages contain all the doublers, where do I put the doubler in box 5? The answer is nowhere. So this is not correct. And if it's not correct, then I can't have the doublers confined to the coloured cages. And the only way you can not have the doublers confined to the coloured cages is to leave out the 1 doubler. So there is a 1 somewhere in this puzzle, probably in this cage, I'm guessing, because it would just be amusing to break the normal mode of the 16 cage. And every other digit is doubled in one of these cages. Right, so now what I think I need to do is actually change my colour scheme. I'm going to change those to purple. In fact, I should probably use a colourblind friendly. I'll make them blue. Because now, given that the only digit outside cages that is doubled is a 1, this must be exactly 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we know none of those cells are possibly a doublers, so I'll make those orange. Orange will be our not a doubler cell, not a doubler colour. So that those must also be no doublers. In fact, if there's no doublers in there, what is in there? It's going to have to be 9, 8, 7. That's 24 plus 9 more. So 9, 8, 7, 6 and 3, or 9, 8, 7, 5 and 4. So that has definitely got 7, 8 and 9 in it. And this is the one that's sort of itching at my brain. I'm sure this is going to have a doubler in it. If that has a doubler in it, those are not doubled. Um, 30. Oh, 30 could have a doubler in it. Because it could contain a 1, actually, even without it being a doubler. So sorry about this. I feel like we've understood something very important about the puzzle, but I'm not actually seeing what I need to do as a result of that. Oh, okay. So, right, I've just spotted something else. Because there's no 1 in those orange cells, there is a 1 in one of those cells. There's a 1 in one of these cells in box 9. Yes, we can never have a 1. Oh yes, I've got it. I've got a digit. Right, this is it. So now, because we can never put a 1 at all in blue, because we know blue is 4 sets of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9s, there must be a 1 in one of those, and these ones now align and force this not to be a 1, because if that was a 1, there would now be 3 1s in just 2 columns of the grid, and that will break the rules of Sudoku. So that means that this is a 1, which means there's a 1 up here, which, oh no, I was about to get very, very pleased with myself then. I was about to say that means that's a 1, but of course I've just said that I can put 1 in the 30 gauge, so I can't do that. But, okay, there's got to be a 1 in there, because there can't be a 1 in blue, so, oh no, that doesn't work either, because the 16 gauge can have a 1 in it. Ah! In fact, must the 16 cage have a... Yes, it must have a 1 in it. Even if it's a doubled 1, it's got to have a 1 in it, so that's got to go there. Okay, and that gets me the 1 over here. Oh, this is lovely. This is lovely. So now those are not 1s. So these are now orange. Anything that is not 1 and not blue is orange by definition, because orange digits are not capable of being doubled. So those are orange. All of these are orange. All of those are orange. Where's 1 in the middle box? Well, no. We know it's not in blue. But that seems a slightly overzealous pencil marking. Mark would enjoy these pencil marks. In fact, Mark would label each of these with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, I suspect. But I'm not going to do that. Now, what's that digit then? So that's 2, 3 or 5. So these are 2, 3 or 5. Oh, hang about. I've got something else here. Right. Right. Oh, I should have got this before, because I was thinking about this when I was thinking about the how these cages worked. But where in column 9 is the doubler? And the answer is it must be in one of these three cells. It must either be in blue here, or it's the one that's doubled outside the cage, but it's definitely not in orange. Now, given that we now know one of these three cells is doubled, those can't be doubled, so they've got to turn orange. I can do the same thing in box 2, look, in terms of row 1. Row 1's doubler is in one of those three, so all of those three have to turn orange. Now, can I do... one of these has to be the doubler in row 9, but I don't think I know which one it is. And in this column it's different again, because the opportunity for this to be a 1, maybe it can't be a 1. If that's 5, if this is a 1, we don't know whether it's... Alright, if it's a... no, so I still don't know if it's doubled or not, even if it is a 1. If it was a 1, and this was 5, 7, 8 and 9 to add to 29, no, I don't think that is breaking either row 1 or row 2 anyway. We've only got... Oh, this is so beautiful. Jay just never lets you down. This is lovely. Right. One of those could be a doubler. So let's say it's the maximum it could be, which would be a double 5. Double 5 is 10, which would mean that if these are undoubled, this cage would sum up to 44 from those digits plus another 5, because we're going to double the 5. So that's 49. But I still can't, I'm nowhere near 60. Even if I doubled a 9 along with that, I'd only get to 58. So those two must be doubled. And if they're doubled, I'm going to change their colour and have a special colour for doubling. I'll make those purple actually. So these can be purple. Purple means definitely a doubler. And this means those are not doubled. These are not doubled because you can't have a repeated doubler. You can't have a doubler again in this box. So all of those turn orange. These turn orange. Can't have more than one doubler in a row. Hang on. Well, that does turn orange. I'm wondering if that means anything about whether it's a 1 or not. I don't think it does, because it could be a 1, just not a doubled 1, so it doesn't. Okay, so that's annoying. These two turn orange. These turn orange as well. Those turn orange. Do I have to have 2 doublers in the 55? I do, yes. Okay, because remember, the base total of those digits in the 55 cage is 44. I know they add up to 44 because they're every digit apart from 1. So that means even if I doubled a 9 in this cage, I would still only get to 53, which is not the same as 55. That's a knowledge bomb for you from Cracking the Cryptic. So I need 2 more doublers, one of which must be there, therefore. So this is now not a doubler. That is not a doubler. In fact, those are not doublers either. And now this must include a doubler, so that's not able to be a doubler. And therefore these are not able to be doublers, because of this. We can only have 1 doubler in this column. Now that is a doubler now, because it's actually the only cell in box 3 that can be a doubler, so it now must be a doubler, which means these, this is going now. These are not doublers, so that's a doubler by the process of elimination. These, and these are not doublers, so that was not a doubler, and that means I now know what the digits are in this box. They are the digits we always thought they would be. That has to be a purple now. It has to be a doubler. Therefore, that's a doubler. And there we go. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. So the reason I'm excited about this being a doubler is there is only one non-caged cell in this puzzle that is a doubler. And it's this one now, so that must be the one. Which means that's a 1. This is a 1. And no. Okay, I was certain that was going to give me all the 1s, but it doesn't seem to do it. But can I keep going with my doublers? Yes, that's got to be a doubler. Which means that's not a doubler. And therefore that's got to be a doubler. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got all my doublers. So now I can get rid of my orange, I think. And all we've got to do is make sure that these purple cells are a complete set of the digits 1 to 9. I love the way I put that, all we have to do, as if that was going to be easy. But it does feel like we have made progress. Oh, no. Okay, so how do we do this bit now? So those two digits have to add up to 55 minus 44, which is, so these add up to 11. Yeah, let's go through it and work out what the doublers have to add up to in each box. So those two add up to 11. These 3 add up to 16, which is moderately... No, actually, if that's a 5, it's not very difficult. Oh, there's only one doubler in this cage. So it must be equal to 53 minus 44, which is 9. So that's a double 9. Which means those are not 9. It might mean some other... Oh, how does the 30 cage work now? 8, 7, 6... 8, 7, 6, 5 and 4 add up to 30. So this is done. So this is forced. There's only one way of getting to 30 in 5 digits if you can't use 9. So this is a 2, 3 pair. Well, I've now got a 2, 3, 5 triple in row 3. And okay, I can... Oh, this is so beautiful. It's things like this that are just so elegant. Where does 9 go in box 7 now? Remember, it can't repeat in a doubler because there's only one doubled 9. So it goes in the corner where it doesn't get a song, but I sort of feel like it deserved one. So those digits are now, by Sudoku, 5, 7 and 8. Which might be important. And well, actually, let's work out what those two have to add up to, because they have to add up to 52 minus 44, which is 8. Right, well that's not 8 then, because that would have to be a 0. In fact, I can see where this is going. This can't be 8 because that can't be 0, so it's not 8. If this was 7, this needs to be 1, and that can't be 1, so that's 5, which means this is 3 to make sure these add up to 8. I've now got a... Whoops. I've got a 7, 8 pair in this column when eventually I manage to type it in. Ah, what's going on? So this is 4, 5 or 6. Oh, look. 5 and 3 are doubled. And that's doubled, so that's a 2 now, by the mystery of sort of remote doublers being removed from other doubling cells. That 2 gives me a 3 here, which gives me a 5 here. Whoa. 5 here. That gives me a 3 in the... and that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Very nice. I hope you did that on purpose, Jay. That would make me happy. So now I can work out what those two have to add up to, because they had... Right, these 3 had to add up to 16. So these 2 have to add up to 14 without using 5. So this is a 6, 8 pair. And now those, by the process of elimination, are a 4, 7 pair. Now let's check the maths on this. 4 and 7 add up to 11. 44 plus 11 is 55, and that is the cage total. So this looks good. This looks good. That can't be a 7, because that would rule 7 out of the 33 cage. a 9, 8. Well, let me just double check that. 9, 8, 6, 5 and 4 is 32. So yeah, there needs to be a 7 in here. So this is 4, this is 7. And that fixes the nature of the 33 cage, which now can't have 4, 5 in it as its extra 9. So it must have 6, 3. So it's 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, which means these two squares are 2 and 5. And therefore there's a 5 in the corner down here and a 2 here. Which means that's a 2 by the process of Sudoku, of all things. It is outrageous when these constructors put Sudoku steps in their Sudokus. Now, none of these are 7s anymore. Those down there are not 3s. So we've got a 4 definitely up here, which means none of those can be 4. None of those can be 4. Alright, now we are having to do Sudoku of all things. Oh, 3 in this box is placed there. Which... yeah, I know. So 3 in this box is placed here, which means that's a 6. So this is a 2 and this is a 4 apparently, which is... That felt a bit too smooth. But maybe it's correct. These have got to be not 6. So that's 4, 5 or 8 because it can't be 7. And that's 4, 5, 7 or 8 because it's got all the options in the world available to it. That's not 6 actually. So we've almost got something going on in this row. Where's 5 in this row? And the reason it can't be here is that it would repeat in this cage if that was a 5. So that's a 1, 5 pair, which is not doing anything for us. That's 7, 8 or 9. And it's not right. And this is lovely. Okay. And this is something I'm sort of slowly have appreciated over the years of doing Cracking the Cryptic. Look at those two cells and think about why I know what that cell is. And it's because of the cage. So both of those digits, whatever they are, see from a Sudoku perspective this digit. Imagine this was 7 and this was 8. Well, this can't be 8 because that's 8 now. And it can't be 7 because that's 7. And it works the other way round. So that's always 9. Which means that's 8 apparently. That's 7. That's 8. And that might... Oh, hang on. I've got a 9 in the corner here. So this has to be a 6, 7 pair if that's correct. And that must be a 9. And therefore that's not a 9. And now I've got a 9 in one of those two cells, I believe. Which doesn't... Does it do anything? Well, 9 in row 3 now. Can't be here because... Well, it can't be there by Sudoku. But so it's got to be in one of those two cells. What about those digits then? They are 8 and 2. Oh no, I was about to say that allowed me to do something, but then I realised it doesn't. Okay, so those are 4, 6 and 7. That one... Oh, that's it, look. What's that digit? It can't be 4 or 7 because they've already appeared in the cage, so that's a 6. So this is now a 4, 7 pair, but that means we should be able to work out what those two digits are because we've got 6 of the 8 digits now in this 52 cage. We haven't got a 2 and we haven't got a 6. So these are 2 and 6. I'm just trying to see if I know the order there. I sort of feel like I must do, but I can't see how to do it. Bar humbug. Oh, I can do it actually, but not using the 2 and the 6. That's 6 sees that cell, so that's an 8. Which means those are not 8. That's not an 8. But that means this is now a 6 because these were a 6, 8 pair, which makes that a 2 and that a 6. which makes that a 2 and that an 8. There's an 8 hiding in one of these 3 cells. This 6 is doing some mischief at the top of the grid. And there's got to be a 6 in one of those 2 positions. Now, can the 6 be here? Of course not, because then it would repeat within its cage. So that's a 6. Those are not 6s. Oh, and that's a 6 at the bottom. So 6, 7, 9, 8 by Sudoku. 4, 6 pair here, which looks like it might be correct. And therefore that's a 7. Which means this is not a 7. Oh, these are not... Oh, look, yes, okay. That's now an 8 by Sudoku. So that's not an 8, and that's not an 8. And that might mean something very important. Come on, brain, think of something. Anything. Oh, you rotten thing. I can't see what it is. Alright, let's have a look at these 3 cells then, because at least we know what they are. They are 3, 8 and 9. Oh, okay, that might not be so good. That can't be 8, because it sees that one. So there's definitely an 8 in one of those 2. Can't see whether I can do better than that. I probably can somehow, but I don't see how to do it. Okay, let's try those. They're 4 and 5. Ah, okay, that one can't be 4, it would repeat. So that's 5, that's 4. And now this little digit must be the final digit for this cage, which is going to have to be a 3, 8 or a 9 again. But we know there's an 8 in here, so we know that's not 8. So this is 3 or 9. And... well, and it's the same as that. Those 2 digits are the same. Let's just quickly flash those in case that tells us something. Yeah. No, nearly. Nearly. You can see that yellow now is not 6 and it's not 4 or 5. So that's yellow and that is 3 or 9. But unfortunately, I don't think we know the nature of it. Although that 5 gives me a 6 up here, I'm now seeing, and a 7 here. So now I've just got a 4, 5 pair in those squares, which means these are from 1, 4 and 5. Apparently we don't know what goes where. What about these then? Oh, I see. Where does 2 go in this column? It can only go there. So this is 4 or 5. 4, 5 pair here, so this becomes a 7. And those squares are 3, 8. Oh, they're the same as over here. They're 3, 8s and 9s again. But this time this one can't be 9 because of this. Oh, and it can't be 3 because of that. I see. So the 3 and the 9 operate to give me an 8, which doesn't tell me what that is. But I've now got a 3, 9 pair in row 5, which gives me an 8 here. I wonder if I have to colour my 3s and 9s. It's not. In fact, just to pause there and note that because this colour and this colour are the same version of 3, 9, well, that can't be a 3 or a 9. So that must be that digit as well. So that's a 3 or a 9. I'm not sure if it's necessary to do this, but it's just quite cool. So that's now 8. That's 1. That's 1. That's 5. That's... oh, this is 1 now. This is now having to be 9 because that we've got this 3, 9 pair, and hopefully this is 4 and 7, which seems to be resolved. So 7 and 4 go in, 4 and 5 go in, 4 here, 5 here, 4 here, 6 here. That seems to have to be 6. This is the terrifying point of these puzzles, when you have a look at these cages and you think, oh, is there a digit that's going to repeat? But it still seems to be, we still seem to be alive and kicking here. That's 4, that's 4, that's 7, that's 8. Oh, not 8. There's an 8 here. That won't work. That's 5 then, is it? And if that's correct, that's a 3 in the middle of... oh, no, it's not. Hang on, my scanning's gone to pot. That's a 7 in the middle of the grid. And these 3s and 9s are not resolving themselves. They're being extremely recalcitrant. Ah, yeah, but thank goodness this 9 here sees that one. That's been available for ages probably, but I've only just seen it. So 999 will go into the grid. That's a 5 at the top, and I need a 2-3 pair here. And what a brilliant puzzle that is. It's just sensationally clever. Again, that was click tick. Yay! Loved it. Absolutely loved it, Jay. I mean, she never lets you down. It's just a beautiful puzzle with some lovely ideas. Let me get rid of the orange and yellow. Oranges and lemons, said the bells of St. Clement's. And it's all about how we understand the maths of these big funny cages, those ones there. And once, oops, let's make that yellow as well. And once we got our heads around that and realised there was an absolute plethora of doublers in there, you can sort of start to make progress. But what's so gorgeous about this is that even once you know that, and even once I knew that they had 8 doublers in it and no 1s, actually the process of going around the grid and locating the doublers is just really good fun, and it's been set up to be elegant and clever. And there was even a 3 in the corner. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I do enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.